New Orleans. This is the franchise Shane Douglas telling you want to load down the best in professional wrestling. You got to look right here at WGS-TV. Ooh, yeah.
Work your way into another episode of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer. I'm the WrestleGamer, Bujo, and this is going to be the WrestleMania review. Guys and gals, the show of shows was last night. By the way, guys and gals, if you tuned into our live reactions hangout, thank you very much for joining with us. And this will probably become a brand new thing right here on WGS-TV. Just once a month for the WWE pay-per-views, have a monthly hangout and just talk wrestling and react to what they're doing. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to our official review of WrestleMania. Let me introduce the panel for the WrestleMania review. First off, ladies and gentlemen, the man of studliness is here, the studly man, Ashley. Ashley, how you doing?
I am recovering.
I'm scared to ask from what, but anyway, guys and gals, he is the hardcore host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, the hardcore one himself, Rick Head. Rick, how you doing?
After last night's show, I'm hanging in there.
Our resident music mogul is here from YouTube.com/Lance Moss TV. Here's the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
The proprietor and owner of Rockin' Waves 11294 is here. It's Chris Rogers. Chris, how you doing?
The United States champion is now worth millions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of dollars. I'm doing good.
Oh, that is so not real. Anyway, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, our final person on the panel, he was actually there at WrestleMania last night. I'm talking about the Bay Area MVP known as Will. Will, I want to start off and ask you, what was the atmosphere like for you actually being there at WrestleMania? I know what it was like for me, but what was it last year? But what was it like for you actually being there in Levi Stadium for WrestleMania 31 last night?
Oh, man. You had fans from all across the world there. I mean, I predicted 56,000, but the whole crowd was over 76,000. The atmosphere was amazing, and yes, I got to see that. Oh, and just for proof, folks, you know what? Got to buy a shirt. Got to buy the shirt. Got to buy it.
Can you talk a little bit more about before we get to review?
20% of the crowd had that shirt.
Yeah, I did see that. Well, before we get started, how would you summarize your experience last night? I just wanted to get it from your fresh perspective from actually being there. You know, what was your experience like?
Oh man, it was amazing. I mean, I was out there having fun, promoting HWR everywhere. I sacrificed my phone, and you know what? Job well done. And also, I'm going to put those videos later on today. So for our great hardcore wrestling fans, my cell phone sacrifice is just for you. I'll have videos later on today. But overall, I loved it. I went with a group of 5 people, and I hate to say this, but the best reaction, and this is not to be offensive to John Cena fans on WGS-TV, all you heard was, John Cena sucks. I'm like, wow, really?
Well, they were quite vocal because we actually heard them during the hangout last night for WrestleMania. Well, anyway, let's get to the first 2 kickoff matches. First off, the WWE Tag Team Championship on the line. Tyson and Cesaro defending against the Usos, the New Day, and Los Matadores. I got to say, way to start off with a huge bang, in my opinion, especially for the kickoff. I mean, the tag team title match actually really did go all out, and the finish was actually quite interesting. I kind of figured that they would keep the titles. They were either going to do one of two things, Ashley, in my opinion. They were either going to keep the titles on Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, or they were going to put it on the Usos. Did you see it at any chance at all of WWE actually putting the championships on either Los Matadores or the New Day?
No, and I didn't even see it happening with the Usos. It was common knowledge that I think it was GA got injured.
Oh, yes.
So that explains the part that happened right at the start where they basically got him out of it. They obviously teased, the one Uso beating you, and that's when you had the or beating the odd, should I say, and Naomi getting involved in spots, and Natalia with the biggest push-up bra I've seen in a while, putting the sharpshooter in El Torito. Everybody got their spot, and it was a surprisingly good match. Mainly because Cesaro got the pin.
Well, let me say this, though. The one thing that I remember Corey Graves saying after that matchup was over on WWE Kickoff, that the one moment that will be remembered more than anything in that match was what you just stated about Natalia putting El Torito in the sharpshooter. The only thing I'm going to say is, can we call Peter for that? Anyway, guys.
Billy.
Yeah?
Here's what I have to say. Why pick on the midget? Why does everyone have to pick on the midget?
I don't know. Chris, you tell us. Anyway.
Hornswoggle was unemployed.
Hold on, Billy. Hold on, Billy. I got to retract to what Chris just said. One word for that: ratings.
Well, yeah. Well, anyway, guys and gals, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now, again, this was really a toss-up to say who exactly was going to pick up the win, but there was one thing for certain, Rick, that all of us called, that this was going to be the moment where we see finally the split between Miz and Damien Mizdow, and it happened right off the bat. But did you actually see Big Show at all winning this match?
Honestly, no, because Big Show, I don't think he's really ever won any big spots in WrestleMania, and I think that's probably why they gave it to him, and I think it made sense. But if you look at the way it happened at the end, where Mizdow, it came down to Mizdow and Big Show, I think basically they both wound up winning at the end of that match. So, I have to say kudos to both of them.
Oh, yes, definitely. And now we got to really expect to, what we're going to see tonight from them. We definitely got to see a reaction to what they did with them. So I'm really interested to see, because Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania has always been notoriously, Extreme Rules. But what will they do at Extreme Rules? That's the question. Anyway, officially the start of WrestleMania, the pay-per-view, the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. A lot of people really not really anticipating them starting with the match that could really steal the show, but they did. And I gotta say, Chris, did you see at all this matchup? No, for one thing, actually, quote, officially opening this match, but do you feel that the way this match went, do you feel that it did steal the show?
All right, now granted, I did not see it. I only read about it, but I did look at the snaps on Snapchat, so I saw bits and pieces in 10-second intervals. But from what I've seen, it was, in my opinion, they should have taken the Intercontinental title and put a briefcase up there.
Well, that's what we have the Money in the Bank pay-per-view for. But Daniel Bryan, ladies and gentlemen, is now the Intercontinental Champion. Kind of an omen of things to come for WrestleMania this year. A lot of fans went excited and went nuts over the fact that Daniel Bryan has finally won the Intercontinental Championship. And he did get congratulated later on backstage from a lot of the past Intercontinental Champions like Pat Patterson, Roddy Piper, Bret the Hitman Hart, Ric Flair. But I got to say, overall, it was a good match.
Know why they did it, though?
Why?
Because if Bryan hadn't have won, the crowd would have been booing for the last 3.5 hours.
You know what? And I do want to bring up one thing. I honestly thought that Daniel Bryan was going to turn heel. That was one of my prop bets over on HWR, and it didn't come to light. So it's interesting.
Seth Rollins.
I think it will happen. I think it will happen in the weeks to come. I have a I just have a feeling that it may happen.
Well, let's put that as a comment question for everyone listening to the review right now on WGS-TV. Do you feel Daniel Bryan will turn heel? And if so, when do you expect that to happen? Put your answers in the comment section below. We definitely want to know what you guys think about that on that subject. On to Seth Rollins and Randy Orton, a beautifully worked match. And I gotta say, Ashley, probably one of the prettiest RKOs I have ever seen. I want to say probably even more than the Evan Bourne Shooting Star Press RKO counter. Orton countering the curb stomp, launching Seth Rollins into the air, and then coming down with an RKO. And guys and gals, you can actually go back on the live reaction commentary because it definitely got a reaction out of me and Lance Moss for that exact spot. That was probably one of the prettiest finishes I've seen to a match in quite some time, Ash.
It's what you'd expect. It's Rollins and Orton. This was, in my opinion, this was the match that was going to steal the show, and to some extent it did, because from top to bottom, this was a stronger card than I think a lot of people were expecting, apart from this match, because people were expecting this one to be good.
Sting and Triple H. Two icons, two cornerstones of the wrestling industry. First off, the entrance for Sting kind of still leaves me scratching my head. Like, how does Japanese kabuki Sting face painted up drummers have to do to tie into Sting's gimmick? I really don't understand that. And then when they had Sting come out, they were actually beating their drums to the rhythm of Sting's WWE entrance music. So I guess maybe so. But Triple H has the Terminator. Well, I want to ask you this question. From your perspective, how long did it take him to set up Triple H's entrance? Because with everything they did and how elaborate it looked, I would have to imagine it took a little bit of time for them to set that up.
From what I understand, and I actually paid attention to the timing of the stage since I was like on the third row at Levi Stadium, Sting's setup was about primarily 3.5 minutes. They had like, I think it was 5 or 6 drums. I'm not so sure. Now, I agree with you on one thing. Where did the drums tied into the theme? I thought, yeah, the scratch my head too. Now, for the Triple H one, you know they had him strapped up. They took Shao Kahn's face mask from Mortal Kombat. They put the Kano on. They made him, But seriously, so each of them must have been 3.5 to 4 minutes long because they really wanted to be on time for everybody's entrance. And I got to say to all the Sting haters in the IWC, Sting's 55. He moves like he's 35. And if you heard the chance, you still got it. There you go.
I want to say this about the match. I loved the inclusion of DX. I love the inclusion of the NWO because it kind of signifies like group rivalries. Because I do remember a lot of people when they started watching the Monday Night Wars on the WWE Network, and even back then.
Billy,
go ahead.
Oh no, Billy, you cut out. No mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do apologize about that. Again, internet is a little iffy over at my place. But anyway, what I was trying to say is when a lot of people started watching the Monday Night Wars, even back then, during the actual Monday Night Wars, there was a lot of comparisons between D-Generation X and the NWO. And to finally kind of see them in the same area, and Lance, I think it was one thing that even you brought up, the fact that every member of the clique was finally at one place at one time for a WrestleMania. I think that has never happened before. But the finish of the match, it went down like this. Sting would have the sledgehammer, and apparently this was a no disqualification match for some reason, hit Sting in the head with it, got the win. But what I don't understand, and Rick, I don't know if you can shed some light on this or not, but after the weeks and weeks of seeing Triple H and Sting kind of hate each other, they end with a handshake. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think the handshake itself was just a sign of respect. And as far as the DX and NWO coming out, I don't care, guys, whether you love Sting, I hate Sting, like Triple H, I hate Triple H, whether you like DX, I hate DX, whatever it is, you know what, I was marking out like a motherfucker because that just, everything came full circle.
Well, yeah,
exactly.
I need to make a couple of points.
Go ahead.
One, why was Triple H wearing a costume that was made by a 7-year-old kid? If you look at
He probably got that at the Walmart section, the kitty section.
No, that wasn't Walmart. That'd be a Dollar Tree. Even Dollar Tree was like, we're not putting that on the shelf. And
he wanted to be economical.
Secondly, this is good old Vince, isn't it? Because you can't drop the fact that, we beat your ass in WCW.
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
honestly think that's what the handshake was for. Triple H was like, sorry that Vince screwed you.
Oh, God. Well, after this, guys, there was a musical performance, but we're really not going to talk about that because flat out it was a piss break and nobody really paid any attention to it. I don't even know who that Kid Ink person is or even that chick that came out with in that.
Skylar Grey. She has a name with somebody from Heroes.
Who pays attention to the music break anyway? Who pays attention to it? Nobody.
You know, I'd like to answer that. Honestly, you know, WWE has had some good music talent in the past, but the problem is, over the years, they've gotten cheap. And, you know, even my girlfriend, Jack Shit, listened to it, and she is an avid music listener, and she's like, even this chick sucks. She's just like, her voice is just very flat. You can tell she's just...
It's like the black...
Yep, I'm here. I'm getting paid. Get me the fuck off the stage, you know.
David,
it
could have been there, but instead he was pleasing 180,000 people on Twitch and about 100,000 people at some dance festival that's apparently were going on the weekend. That literally finished, I think, at about 6 in the morning, despite it said that it was finishing at midnight. They ran late.
The Divas tag team match followed the musical performance. AJ Lee and Paige taking on the Bella Twins. Right off the bat, one thing I want to say, and this is WrestleMania, the show of shows. Now, Paige's ring gear was a little bit more elaborate than we're normally accustomed to because, again, it's the grandest stage of them all, and AJ Lee just comes out in normal ring attire. You would think on the show of shows... Go ahead.
So does the Bellas. So.
Well, yeah, because I'm going to hold them accountable for that too. But I got to say, I visited the restroom during this match because, to be honest, I really couldn't care for what they did in this match. Now, they did have some couple of good matches to build into this, but did I really think it was worth my time? Let me just say this. The musical performance wasn't worth my time, Lance. And the Divas tag team match, honestly, was not worth my time.
Well, was it the best Divas match? No. And about the whole AJ's attire stuff? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, you got a point there. You definitely got
she looks damn good in them Daisy Dukes.
Yeah, officially from
what I have sort of special tie, given that it's her very first Mania as well.
Seriously?
Well, remember, she debuted the night after WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah, that's
AJ
true.
Last year.
Paige, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But officially, in the record books, AJ Lee and Paige do pick up the win. The United States Championship match. Rusev with the returning Lana. I got to say.
Did I not call it?
Let me say this. Lana looked stunning. And I even said it to Joseph Knight from CWA, who joined us on the Hangout last night. She looked to be just as stunning as Zsa Zsa Gabor back in the day. Because, that is just really elegant style of beauty. And with what Lana had last night, definitely had that. And I'm going to say is, thank God Lana was there, because it actually made Rusev tolerable once again. Now... Well, I gotta go to you again, and I gotta ask you again. From your perspective, being in the crowd, how was the crowd response for both Cena and Rusev?
They both got a substantial amount of boos, but I'm going to be honest, there was a few people that actually wanted Rusev to win. There was actually 2 people attempting to sing the Russian national anthem. We told him to sit down. We literally told him to sit down.
Wow.
Now, and now for
Rusev
John
had the best entrance of the night. He had a bloody tank. He had like gun salutes. He had soldiers. What entrance does Cena have? Ronald Reagan talking about a Cold War and just walking out on his own. They didn't want to give him a fancy entrance because the crowd. No, they didn't want to give him a fancy entrance because they knew the crowd would go, John Cena, sir, because you heard that loud and clear. Which is brilliant because you had the Cold War Cena marks. That was the confusing thing. Because Karl Marx, was a communist.
Anyway, before
Billy.
What?
But remember, did I not call this a few months ago? I said that Rusev's first loss would be at WrestleMania. Did I not say it?
Yes, you did, and it makes perfect sense, for him to suffer his big first major defeat on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. And in a sense, too, my pride bet about Lana being involved kind of came true because it was, in fact, Lana on the ring apron trying to distract John Cena. Rusev would try to sneak attack Cena from behind. Cena would move out of the way. Rusev would knock Lana off.
Rusev murdered Lana.
In a sense. And then Cena would hit the AA, pick up the win. All I'm going to say is, even though I respect John Cena, do not bring back that spinner belt for the love of God. The spinner belt, keep it at home. The U.S. and the WWE.
I just like the fact that we now have 2 major stars with your secondary titles. Hopefully these belts are going to mean something now.
Yeah.
They're bringing it back up to a level field now. They're bringing the titles up to regulatory.
Now, based on what we saw following this segment involving Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, The Rock, and Ronda Rousey, Rick, in your personal opinion, do you believe that they're trying to set something up for possibly WrestleMania 32?
I fucking hope not. Well, let me amend that. I think I would hope that there's nothing between The Rock and Triple H because considering that they already did the few punches and shit, no. They had that little segment and Rock pretty much just beat the hell out of them. Yeah, I can see it, but I hope not. So let's put it that way.
Now, I am not going to fault Ronda Rousey too much because when she was on the microphone, she was like, why don't you make me get out of the ring? And I'm like, okay, if I have to tweak the volume on my headset just to hear what you're saying, that's not a good thing in my book. But other than that,
that's like Prince trying to talk.
Exactly. Now, Ronda,
keep in mind, she's used to being on live microphones in arenas like the Staples Center, not open air venues. She can talk relatively quiet in an arena, and that's going to reverb around because they've got, too many speakers in the roof. There's no roof on Levi Stadium unless they want to add it in. Can you send that into the planning permission, Will?
See, and here was the thing about it, if I can incline here. Everybody from my row did not hear nothing. The only thing we thought we heard was a little squeaky girl trying to speak. And as much as a dangerous woman she is, you should be able to have a voice. Not having to go like this, as you see my ears be like, what did you say? Can you speak louder? Huh? I mean, come on.
One of the big things about WrestleMania this year was the return of The Undertaker and which Undertaker we were going to see. There were rumors for weeks and weeks about the big evil Undertaker, the American badass Undertaker, returning at WrestleMania. And what we got was classic Undertaker with the hat and the coat, because I kind of think Stardust from the Intercontinental Championship ladder match kind of stole Undertaker's ring gear and put it on himself. I'm saying,
no, make no mistake. Make no mistake.
Wasn't that like?
He handed it to him.
Wasn't that Marvel Sinister?
That's what a lot of people said about that too.
That was Marvel Sinister, I think, that costume.
But anyway, here's what I liked and didn't like about the match itself. The core match itself was okay, but I think the fact that they were in an open stadium and it was still sun out kind of made their entrances look a little ridiculous. Let me explain what I mean. For one thing, we know about Bray Wyatt's gimmick. We've seen his entrance time in and time out where the lights are out and he uses a lantern to light the way and walk with it to ringside. Levi's Stadium, the sun was still out and he still had the lantern out in front of him like he was blind as a fucking bat. To me, it looked ridiculous. Now, I do like the fact that... Go ahead.
Not to mention, there were supposedly fireflies out in the middle of the day.
Exactly. Exactly. That made absolutely no sense. Now, I do like the inclusion of the walking scarecrows. It kind of made the entrance a little bit better, but the fact of the matter is Bray Wyatt was holding up a lit lantern during the middle of the day. Doesn't sit well with me. Undertaker's entrance was a little bit more okay. We didn't really get to see much of the purple lighting, but when he does his normal lighting up thing, what was he lighting up? It was sunlight out there. I mean, it didn't make any sense. What are you just doing? Getting in the purple light. That was it. No, but I'm just nitpicking. I'm just nitpicking. But I want to say this. I even said it on the Hangout last night during WrestleMania. I want to say the big moment that a lot of people will probably take away from this match, Lance, is Bray Wyatt doing his crab walk, then Undertaker sitting up to that, and the reaction Bray Wyatt had to that. I'm going to say bravo, because that was 100% spot on.
Oh, most definitely. That has WrestleMania moment written all over it. Because Taker set up, Bray went, oh shit.
And Undertaker looked to be in really, really good shape. A lot better than what I had to see last year, unfortunately, in New Orleans. But I'm going to say he looked in really good shape, and maybe another match next year. Maybe, if he can keep up the shape. Now, I did hear rumors about him being scheduled for Monday Night Raw tonight. I'm not sure if that is true or not. I'm just going on rumors that he might be on Monday Night Raw, but he looked in really good shape, and hope maybe we can see another match out of him. Maybe. But anyway, guys and gals, finally the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. One thing I want to say. First off, I even said it during the Hangout. Why people want to buy stock in Brock Lesnar, I'll never know. I will never know. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Period. Matchup in itself wasn't that bad.
All I would say, Billy, is he's a guy that could legit beat the hell out of people. And I think that's what people are more into at the minute. Realistic, guys who literally could knock you out if you met them in the street.
Yeah, but I don't see how that would play into a wrestling scenario on TV. I really don't understand why that should play a factor into what a person...
Wrestling. It's entertainment. Don't be Shawn Michaels and get trouble from the back.
Anyway, guys, a couple of things also to take away from this is the fact that at one point on the outside there was a spot where Brock Lesnar was attempting to send Roman Reigns into a ring post and ends up being countered, and Lesnar collided head first, splitting him open. Ashley, I'm going to ask you from your perspective, do you think that this was a planned spot, or do you think that this was, something that was a pure accident that split Lesnar's head wide open?
I think it was planned, whether it was Blade or whether he knew because he didn't like working on it before the match, because it happened like he started bleeding 30 seconds in. There was like a little cut on his cheek or whatever. And then you had the blood from his mouth, and then, you know, the blood from his forehead. It was again, it's this realism. It makes you believe that he's willing to just beat the crap out of anybody and not care about what sort of health he's in, which obviously led to something to do with the finish. But it was a very nicely put together match. It was the guy who wants to beat the crap out of everybody, and the guy who was crazy enough to be smart about being beaten the crap out of.
I think what a lot of people will also take away from this match is the cash-in by Seth Rollins, cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase, essentially turning the match into a triple threat, curb-stomping Brock Lesnar not once but twice, and then curb-stomping Roman Reigns, pinning Roman Reigns, and becoming the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship. In a way, taking the title off of Lesnar, but saying that Lesnar did not have to take the loss. Now, how they'll play with that on Monday Night Raw tonight?
Won.
What?
Everybody won.
In a sense, yes. Yeah, in a sense.
Rock didn't get pinned. Roman took a hell of a beating, and I think got a lot of respect from the crowd. And Seth made history as being the first guy to cash in during a match, as well as the first guy to cash in on WrestleMania itself, and in both cases beat Seth. Everybody won. You know, Vince, I think Vince probably called it notable on the fact that that crowd booed the hell out of Roman, and they just went, right, we're going to make the switch. Because then obviously you can build it to anything now. It could be Seth Lesnar if he wants to do it, Seth Reigns, or even Seth Rollins. All of a sudden, you've now got 3 or 4 people that can be involved in that title picture if they wanted to.
All ladies and gentlemen, on that note, it is now time to go into overall scores and our picks for best and worst match or segment of WrestleMania this year. WrestleMania was indeed I wouldn't say 5-star stellar show, but WrestleMania definitely did have its bright points and made it a really good, decent show to watch. I've seen people all over social media just bashing WrestleMania because it didn't go the way they wanted it to. A lot of people are bashing it because a lot of people are even saying Cena buried Rusev. Where the hell are you people looking at to say that Cena buried Rusev? It's like saying that I buried your mother, in a sense. But anyway, it was still an overall good show.
Did the Springboard RKO?
Yes. Yes. My overall score in WrestleMania this year is going to be a 4 out of 5. Best match of the night, I'm going to go to the Intercontinental Championship ladder match with a big honorable mention to The Undertaker, looking in phenomenal shape, a lot better than last year, and he actually worked a really good match with Bray Wyatt, and a big heads up to Bray Wyatt as well for also working a really good match with The Undertaker. Worst segment of the night, musical performance. Why? Because I really did not give a damn about it. That is the only thing I'm going to say about that. So, anyway, Ashley, let's go over to you. Overall score and your picks for best and worst match or segment of WrestleMania this year.
I have to give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's one of the strongest WrestleManias that I've seen live. Because I have to have the caveat that the only other one that I'd say is up there that I've seen live is WrestleMania 17. I mean, I've seen other ones, but 30 was good, but the whole idea of 31 is, okay, there wasn't anything excellent, but it was just steadily consistent as good, and you had a lot of surprises. You had the cash-in, you had the Ronda Rousey appearance, which clearly got mainstream media, and also apparently was clearly something that Dana White loved in a hotel at 3 in the morning in London. You had the surprises there. Match of the night, I'd say it's a tie between Rollins and Orton, and the main event / triple threat into what it became. I think that was just done very well. Worst bit, some of those shows that are coming up on the network. The WWE camp thing, it probably isn't going to be as good as Robot Chicken. The Jackass thing, Swerve. If Vince Russo isn't involved, it can't have a Swerve. And Jerry Springer. Yeah, because he's relevant.
The only thing I can respond with is wow. That's the only thing I can think to say about those three shows. But anyway, guys and gals, let's go over to Rick next, get his overall scores and his picks for best and worst match or segment of WrestleMania. Rick?
Well, considering the WrestleMania build-up was lukewarm, I have to say I was really pleasantly, pleased. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Notwithstanding the, cheeseball advertisements and a very crappy musical segment, I have to say that probably the worst match of the night, I probably was the Divas match. That was definitely a shipbreak. But the best match of the night,
They didn't give Divas a chance that night.
Yeah, for me, a tie. The best match of the nights where a tie was between the Triple H Sting match, only because DX and NWO was in there, and of course the main event. And of course, you can give an honorable mention to that great spot between Randy Orton and Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Anyway, let's go to Lance next, get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of WrestleMania. Lance?
Overall, 4.5. Best match, well, I gotta go Triple H Sting as well. I'm a click mark. Worst, I hate to say it, but Divas, because it wasn't that well performed, but then again, I was just busy staring at AJ's ass.
As you always are.
Segment, yeah, pretty much. And worst segment, good God Almighty, do we have to have whatever the hell those people are saying? Best segment, I'll give it to the Ronda Rousey, Rock, Triple H, Stephanie thing.
Guarantee when the DVD for WrestleMania 31 comes out, those musical performances will not be on the show. Let's go to Will
Thank
next.
God.
Will, you're up next with your overall score and your picks for best and worst match or segment of WrestleMania this year.
All right, well, I can say that'll be my first and probably last WrestleMania I go to, so I was proud. Overall, the environment over there, I'd also say 4.5. And I'd like to make an honorable mention on WGS-TV to the guy that was saying, go San Diego at a 49er stadium. This is not Southern California, you dick. Okay? The best match, there's actually two good ones, but if I had to sum it up respectively, I would have to go Triple H Sting. And Lance hit it on the button, the whole clip that night. More than 70,000 plus must have marked out. None of us thought it was going to happen, but we seen it. Worst match? God, do I really want to mention it? Yeah, I would have to say, since I was there, the worst match would have to be the Fatal 4-Way for the tag team belts. I mean, you got good talent, but really pre-show WWE. Yeah, I'm leaving it at that. Best segment, Daniel Bryan getting praise from all the former Intercontinental stars, But thank you, Ron Simmons, at the end. Worst segment, the bathroom line. Why? Because I missed the whole Divas match. Hey, James, I'm sorry about your damn luck because I didn't watch that part. But overall, 4.5. Don't go to the bathroom, folks. If you Dallas, Texas next year for this WrestleMania, go to the bathroom early.
And finally, very quickly, Chris. Oh God. Anyway, finally, quickly, Chris, your reactions to WrestleMania.
I gotta say, I take back what I said about not watching it at all because I did see a little bit of it. I was able to find a stream. So, thanks to the coworkers at work. But, anywho, I would say the best match that I saw would have to be, Sting versus Triple H. Worst match would have to be the Intercontinental title match, because, I meant the tag team match, sorry. Pre-show, they're wanting to bring the titles to an even playing field, and, yeah, you put the tag team titles on the pre-show, what the hell. But, best segment would have to be, Ron Simmons doing his signature, damn! And worst segment, the music, and Bay Area. If you probably should have chosen that match to go pee in.
Anyway, guys and gals, on that note, what we want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on WrestleMania this year. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of WrestleMania this year? We definitely want to know what you guys out there have to say. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Where can fans check you out on HWR?
Of course, they can always check us out on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And always, please subscribe to us over at youtube.com/HWR Show.
Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV?
Album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, redneck farmer cooking videos, musical equipment reviews, some rants, and some other random shit, and also the archives of controversial scandals from Hardcore Wrestling Radio. Also, check me out on Twitter. It's at LanceMossTV.
Chris Rogers is over there on Rockin' Waves 11294. Chris, where can fans check out more info on Rockin' Waves?
www.rockinwaves.com. Just don't expect us to be live the next couple of weeks because my computer's in the shop, and speaking of that, I gotta go.
And finally, ladies and gentlemen, he was actually there at WrestleMania. He's also the host of In the News over on Hardcore Wrestling Radio. It's the Bay Area MVP known as Will. Will, what can they check out in the news?
All right, you can check out HWR in the News. We have stuff, articles. We do a little bit of rants, everything wrestling made. We always do it Wednesday or Thursday at SoundCloud.com/HWR Show. And fans, as we speak right now, I'm loading up the first video of the entrances for the IC title ladder match. So please be patient, HWR fans. I stick to the promise, and I'm uploading them now. So stay tuned.
WGS-TV is on social media, Facebook.com/WGS-TV, Twitter at The WrestleGamer, Instagram at The WrestleGamer. Be sure you check us out on social media. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to YouTube.com/WrestleGamer for more content like this and all of my Let's Plays, which, by the way, you can check out in the annotations at the end of this video. So with that being said, for the Studley Man Ashley, the hardcore host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, Rick Kidd, the incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV, Chris Rogers of Rockin' Waves 11294, and the Bay Area MVP known as well, I'm the Wrestle Gamer, Bill Beverly Boudreaux, saying we'll see ya at the next Warp Zone.
Grappling hook time!
Kim, where are you?
But there are civilians depending on this stuff.
Our plan is focused on the greater good.